Here we go. Round two. Round two. Live. She's already asleep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're having serious issues today.
Technical difficulties?
Yeah.
With what?
Both. It's coming back now. Okay, we're better now. Whoa. Oh, wait, we're still not on YouTube, on Facebook yet. Okay. Mm-hmm. Usually. We're going to see how we do.
Okay.
Okay, good. Nicole says it's working now on
Facebook?
On YouTube. We just
is it not working on YouTube? I thought you were saying Facebook.
Just went live on Facebook.
Word.
Okay.
Also
all right.
3 minutes ago, but.
Sorry, friends. We're back. But look at what it's. See how it's videoing? Like, I don't know that it's actually working.
Oh, I bumped the table too.
Yeah, try not to bump it. It's like.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Look, I gotta move this chair. This chair's
Do you want me to try to put up on here and see?
It's actually maybe look at it on that computer.
Oh, good call.
Hey.
But is he gonna try to play the sound?
Hey, Lisa. Okay, can you all hear us fine? Okay, it looks fine now. Maybe it's fine.
I don't see it on here.
It's fine.
Okay. You don't do it.
Friends, sorry. Hello again. I think we're okay. I think we're good now.
Hey guys.
I think we're good now. So you have yourself an online steps to success. I'm so glad that you were here. My name is Allison. This is my husband, Brian. And we're live every Tuesday night right here. We're kind of late tonight because of all our technical difficulties, but not as late as last week. I hope that you had a chance to join us last week. We were like an hour late. You're going to have to get rid of that one.
Is that going to throw you off?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to fight us both questions like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, but then you can see that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's like all kinds of things over here. So I'm so glad that you're joining us. I have something really, really important to talk to you about tonight. So, well, we both do. That's why Brian's here. We're super live tonight, meaning
For what?
We're super live. Do you know what that means? Guess. Super
Off the
live
cuff?
is extra dangerous. No, not really.
Okay.
You don't know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
It means children are unsupervised. So
you called that super live?
Super live because
shouldn't it be unsuper live?
I don't know. Super live because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, for real. They can walk in here at any time. Certain ones of our children don't like to wear clothes.
Who knows what could happen? Just about anything.
I don't have pants on right now.
He's on.
Y'all don't know. It's like newscasters. What are they wearing on there? Do you know?
I mean, surely they're wearing pants, right? They're wearing clothes.
I bet a lot of people that go live online aren't.
Maybe not.
You see that commercial, that guy doing the interview, and like something spills, and they see him in his underwear, but he had a suit on?
Yeah, they got cozy clothes on.
Maybe that's us.
Anyways, so we're super live, meaning our kids are unsupervised. They're watching a movie. We'll see what happens.
The baby's asleep. That's what's important.
Yeah, she's asleep. So we should be golden.
Should be.
So now would be the time to tag your teammates, tag your friends, tell them to join us because we're talking about something really important tonight, and that is how do I do this small business owner, family, marriage, life thing well during the holidays. It's hard enough to do the holidays well, like if you're not a small business owner, but now you're all small business owners, right? It's a lot. And so we're going to talk about some things that we have learned. We're going to give you some practical tools, and yeah, it's going to be great. Why should you listen to us? I don't know, other than...
Did someone ask that?
No.
I was like, what?
No, I just feel like, you know, who the heck are these people?
Yeah. We don't know why you listen.
We don't know why you listen to us. But my name is Allison. Again, if you're just joining us, this is my husband, Brian.
Hello.
We have been Superstar Directors with Scentsy for over a decade now, and we are so glad that you are joining us. Our goal with Online Steps to Success is to help you work smarter, dream bigger, make a profit in your business, and change your world and the lives of the people around you. So
right.
We are so glad that you're here, and so I will tell you, you guys know that I've always said I will do this and I'll come on live every Tuesday as long as I have something to say that I think would be meaningful to you. I'm not going to get on and just blab or like make stuff up. And so today I told Brian, I'm like, I just don't know. Like, I don't feel like I have anything to say. I don't know. I don't know if I was just in Thanksgiving mode or what. I was like, do you think it'd be bad if I should do it tonight? Like, it would be fine. What did you say to me? Well, he didn't really say anything. I think he just looked at me.
It was like,
he did the look that was like, you probably need to do it. Is that your phone vibrating?
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard that though, right?
Yeah, what was that?
I have no idea.
Do you have a secret pager?
Yeah, I want a pager.
It sounded like a pager.
It did. It sounded like a pager.
What the heck is that?
What was it?
That was weird. Anyways. My
Is there
phone doesn't
anything
have
else around here?
No, like, I don't know. Some sort of weird electronic thing. I don't know.
Weird.
Sorry.
What's the deal? A weird vibrator hiding around here?
Oh my God.
Not like that. It could have been another phone or something.
See,
Yeah.
here's what happens when Brian comes on. You never know how he always makes me feel at some time awkward, right?
Oh, is that why it's super live?
That's why it's super live. Because
Not just
of you.
because of, why's the door open? Oh, you want
I get hot.
Yeah, it's super live.
Yeah,
You never know
super
what I'm
live.
going to say. So just deal with it, people. Deal with it. This
Uh,
is a look into her everyday life.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, though. Seriously.
Only I can't scare you. I scare her constantly.
So, how do we make a great profit, work smart, not hard, and give the best part of us to our families in this season? It is tricky, it is hard, and it can be a really overwhelming season when you're a small business owner. And I think I sat in the mind frame for a very long time of I have to hustle like the last 6 weeks of the year because like it's game time, right? Like this is the time when you're gonna make your cash for the new year. Like it's game time. Everybody's buying gifts, and so it's easy to get caught up in the I have to, right? So how do we kind of guard against that and guard our hearts and guard our time? I have some practical tips for you. My tips are right there. These were just my intro notes. Oh, here's what I did want to say. You guys if you follow us personally on social media, you know a few weeks ago that we did a search for some help, for some assistance. And I'm going to talk further about why we hired actually people in the next coming weeks. It's something that's really, really played on my heart and my mind lately, and some conversations I've had with leaders. I think hiring right at a certain point in your business is necessary, and it's what helps you scale to a new level.
How do I get rid of it?
Oh, I can't handle it. Exit.
There we go. I was trying to reply.
Don't touch it. Okay.
I was trying to reply to you, Chuck. I was going to say hi. Hi, Chuck.
There it is.
I just didn't want to interrupt her, but go ahead.
It's fine. Anyways, we do have some new team members. We set out to hire one person. We hired 3. And some of you have already heard from the lovely Megan. Sometimes you'll hear from me if you send us some. You guys know that forever I wasn't checking Facebook messages because I couldn't. Not because I couldn't, but
her
because
Facebook messages, her emails, there's multiple avenues, text messages. She gets a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It was a little overwhelming.
It was a lot.
So I told you guys a long time ago, like, hey, I don't check messages. My team knew that. But now I have help, and sometimes it's me, and sometimes you'll get Megan. And if you hear from her, she's amazing. She knows me really well. We've known each other for years. She used to be a Cincy director, and she's just fantastic. So if you hear from her, she's helping me with messages. And I'm just going to tell you, it's made me feel so much more accomplished, and that I'm actually doing the things that I need to be doing that only I can do. So it's fantastic. We'll talk more about that in coming months. Weeks, who knows? I don't know. But also we hired a couple other people, somebody to help us with the events and training and person stuff we do, and to help us with some video editing. And that's Maggie. She's fantastic. And then we also hired a fabulous girl named Molly, who I'm sure you'll hear more from and learn about in the coming months. So we're so excited to have them around us and supporting us as we continue to grow our business. It just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? If I want to take it to the next level, if I want to scale up and really be able to support my leaders, I need some help. And so we will talk about that on another day. But tonight we're talking about how we do the holidays well. So I have some tips for you. And my very first one, this is one of those days when you should maybe take notes. You guys know that I love notes.
She always wants people to take notes.
Well, I was a teacher, and I just feel like you should take notes, right?
Yeah.
I have notes. You should have notes. I'm pointing to my whiteboard. You can't see it, but I can. Also, I did buy a giant whiteboard that I cannot wait to.
Giant.
It's
like
really
it
too
sat
big.
on our front porch in the box for 3 or 4 days.
But I can't wait.
Because even in the box, I didn't know where to put it in the house.
I can't wait to teach you something where I need to use it. It's really great. But
You're gonna have to get a wide angle lens.
I know. I don't know.
It's huge.
It's really too big, but I love it.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that one right there.
Oh, the box was so much bigger than that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's over here. Y'all can kind of see it. You see the over there? There's the start of it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It ends like
there it is.
over here.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
what you
let's
got?
talk about how do we do this well? How do we do family business? You're a small business owner. You've got to do that well. You've got to capitalize on this time. Capitalize. That sounds really bad, but you know what I mean. Like,
No, that's true though.
it just is true. We
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're making the most money that we possibly can, that we're sharing this opportunity with as many people as we possibly can this time of year, but also that we're guarding our family and we're putting up appropriate boundaries. So my very
Yes.
first tip for doing this well is starting with a goal. So we have a week and a half left in November.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you should have a goal for how many, I mean, this is like me being broken record. How much PRV did you want to have this month? How many new recruits did you want to have? What kind of goals did you have for your leadership? Those things like that. It should be written. My goal always is to hit my goal before the end of the month. I don't want to be waiting until the very last couple days to input orders to get that last bit of PRV, to be really like searching for that last recruit. So all of those things need to happen as quickly in the month as you possibly can. For us, do you need a Kleenex?
No, I needed it. Somewhere. I got it.
Oh,
I got you. Oh,
for us, we usually take off about the 20th of the month. And so everything has to get done even faster. So you have to be intentional and you have to start with a goal. Another part of being intentional and having your goal set, this would be point 2, would be to plan. And I'm talking like plan like you've never planned. If you have kids, if you have a spouse, if you're working another job, you have got to get all the things that need to happen or that are scheduled to happen in December out. Things you want to do with your family, things, obligations you have to the kids' school, to your work, to your spouse's work, whatever. Christmas parties, traveling, everything you can possibly think of, you need to get it out on paper. And you need to look at what you've got left. What kind of time do I have to run my business? How do I do it intentionally? How do I do it smart? Because we do not want to be spinning our wheels doing things that are not profit generating. It's so vital that the activities that you're doing are activities that are actually making you money. That would be hosting parties. That would be collecting orders, pushing online orders, pushing online parties, however it is that you're growing. And gaining PRV and getting new customers and networking and getting possible recruits, all of those things have to be top of list always when it comes to your business because they are income generating. And that's what's going to make you money and help your business be stable over the long haul. And that's what we want, is stability in your business.
Let me jump in.
Sure.
On the calendar thing, I know not all of y'all are calendar people. I wasn't a calendar person before I met Alec. Personally, I'm still not a calendar person. But I will say something that has helped us tremendously, especially during the crazy holiday season. We have a big calendar that's posted up in our kitchen, and Allie writes everything in it that we have going on, even all the way down to no lunch needed for Lucy on this day because they're having pizza day at school or whatever it might be. And it's just a great place that I can go to every day, look at the calendar. If it's on there, I know that it's happening and it's important. She'll cross it out, and we both change it as needed. But it's just such a way for us to not have those. We used to get in these huge, not huge, but conflicts, fights, whatever you want to call them, because something would happen and I had something else planned, but I hadn't communicated it. She hadn't communicated it. So we just have this calendar. And if I have something going on, I write it in. If she has something going in, we write it in. And if there's a conflict, we talk about it long before day of. So if you find you and your spouse or your significant other ever fighting about those things or that being a problem, post up a calendar. It takes a month or 2 to get used to it, right?
Yeah, and so here's the other thing. Some of you are like, well, that's never going to happen at our house. Some of you are already on a digital calendar. That's great. There is an incredible app called Cozy, C-O-Z-I, that allows you to sync separate calendars. It allows you, I think it syncs with your Google Calendar. Correct me if I'm wrong. I went digital one year, and it just didn't work for me. I I have.
But even if you go digital, okay, so Allie has like 4 planners. She has multiple calendars and planners going on.
I mean, that might be a little dramatic.
3?
Just really one.
No, you have 2. Well, we have our house one and you have your personal one.
Okay.
And then sometimes these other ones pop up out of nowhere that I go, where'd you get that? And she goes, oh, this whole thing? Oh, okay. But to have one public one that your kids can look at, that you can look at, that honestly even guests that come into our home look at it and
They do.
can see, oh, I can't invite them to that thing Tuesday night because she has a Cincy party or whatever it might be. I mean, it's out in the open. You know, we're not scared of people seeing it, but it just really has helped the ebbs and flows of our family, especially during this season. Because this season, we're getting pulled in so many directions for so many things, business, personal, church, helping people move, doing this and that. And so it just really helps. So if you don't do that, it helps. You don't have to do it, but do it. I promise you.
Yeah, so my third point, first was start with a goal. Second was plan, right? Plan and be intentional. The third would be to communicate well with your spouse. And so really what the calendar has become for us is a piece of communication. It's one way that we communicate on a regular basis. And it's a constant conversation for us about what's on the schedule. And so if anything, I think over communication is even better. Like I don't even think over communication is a thing, especially with a spouse when you're running a household and you have businesses and family and all of the things.
It's better than under communication, for sure. Sometimes if I hear 4 different times tell me that she's doing something, I'm like, babe, I get it. I got it. She's like, okay, I was just making sure. But yeah, over communication is better than under.
I'm just trying you to forget.
Yeah. You told me 3 times before the 4th time.
So start with a goal, plan, and communicate well. And that's with your spouse. That's also with your team. I've told you guys many times that we take off for about 4 weeks over the holidays. And that happens with a lot of communication to my customers, to my team, to everybody involved. It also takes a lot of intentionality and a lot of pre-planning and a lot of prep work. It means I have to write a whole bunch of emails and schedule them to go out long before they're going to go out so I can take that time off. But it's worth it to us and it's important.
And I've heard people say, oh, I can't take that much time off. Like I just can't do it. We're so energized when we come back and ready to tackle our business and we have new ideas and all of that. I promise you, for us, it's more fruitful long-term to do that than it is to just keep our head down and keep working during that season, because we come back really fired up and invigorated. And we usually have a really good January. I don't think we ever had a January where we didn't think it was a good January, even though we took the first 2 weeks of January off. So don't worry about that. You've got to charge your batteries. You know how you have to plug your phone in sometimes? You have to, or it's going to die, right? You got to unplug sometimes so you don't die.
So one of the important things and tricky things about this business is we're in a retail business where you're making you're getting a lot of sales overall in the last quarter of the year. And that can be hard to plan for and prep for. What I want for you, what I think the healthiest thing for you, for your business is for you to have consistency when it comes to sales and recruiting and the way that you run your business across the board. So honestly, December shouldn't look a whole lot different than January. There's zero reason for it. One of the reasons some of you are having issues scaling past or getting to the next level is because you are riding the ebbs and flows. And so when it feels like things are good, or when there's a natural tendency for things to be good, then things become good in your business. But you're not setting the pace on your own. So you're not saying, here's the goal, here's the work I'm doing to make it happen. You're letting the ebbs and flows of it carry you when the reality has to be true. You have to be the driver of the business, and you have to be this is yours. This is your baby to hold. And you have absolute control over what January looks like versus what December looks like. I can hear your excuses already about, well, nobody has any money in January. Nobody wants to buy anything in January. Lies, 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 lies. Let me tell you this. One of the very first trips I was trying to earn, last day to earn it, right? The end of January. I got down to the wire where I needed 2 more recruits, and I needed them both to sell their first $1,000 by the end of the month.
You said last day of January. No. at the beginning of January, you looked at it.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I'm saying like
you got down to the last month, not the last day.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So halfway through the month, I hosted this meeting, this opportunity night, and 2 of my high school friends signed up that night, and I just challenged them. I said, "Hey," and I kind of just made it up. It's actually true. I didn't know it was true at the time, but I was like, "Hey, people do the best when they get started and get started fast. So if you can sell $1,000 in the next 2 weeks, I guarantee you that you are going to have a fantastic business." I mean, it was sort of like I wasn't quite sure. It sounded like it was probably true. And now I know that it's absolutely
That's how
true.
we lead half the time. We're like, this sounds right.
I think that this should be right.
Yeah. But you did tell them, but I remember because they knew each other.
Yeah, they knew each other.
And so she said, she made it like a team thing. She's like, hey, here's the thing. I'm going to help you in any way I can. I think you guys can get certified by the end of the month. And the statistics show if you do, that you have so much better chance of being a long-term successful consultant. So I'm just challenging you guys. A lot of people will say you can't, but let's see if you can. And they both did it.
They both sold their first $1,000 in the last 2 weeks of January.
Yeah.
Helped push me to earn a trip. And I mean, their business just started off skyrocketing. It is all about your mindset. It's all about what you choose to believe about your business and about people around you. You can make excuses all day long, or you can do something to change the situation that you're in. That's why you're doing this business in the first place, right? Because you want something different from your life. It may just be that you want extra money to shop at Target with. That's fine. We all love that.
Target's great.
But it may be even bigger than that. It may be that you want to travel with your kids. It may be you want to get your husband out of a job that he hates. It may be that you want to get out of a job that you hate. It may, I don't know what it is, but there's something driving you to work this business because there's something that you want to change. And you will be the driver of that change. You and only you. So you choose what your business looks like. Here's where this is.
On that, I was going to say, don't. So what you're saying is they shouldn't believe the lies. Call it whatever it is. But they shouldn't believe what people say. We met a girl on an incentive trip.
Propaganda.
We met a girl on an incentive trip. She was a new consultant at sometime during the incentive period. In January, she needed, I forget what she needed.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But she got 7 recruits and sold like.
No, this was one of our directors, Gina. When we went to Canada, she told us this story.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she got like 6 or 7 recruits and sold like $4,000 or $5,000 in January.
In January.
And everybody, she said, people kept coming up to me going, how did you do that? And I went, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought January's a great time because everything's slowed down. Everyone's back to school, back to normal. Like, I thought that would be a great time to tell people about Cincy. And it was. And we were like, oh, it was all mindset. Like, you know that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. She just didn't know. Yeah. Thank God she didn't know. Because
she got to go on a trip of aliens.
Yeah. If she had believed the lies, she would have been like, I can't do that. Might as well not even try. Yeah. So she just looked down and said, okay, I have a goal. I want to qualify by the end of this month, but I have to get all these recruits and do all this other stuff. And she did all of it just because she didn't know she couldn't. And so sometimes that's the best place.
Here's the main point I'm trying to make. Do not get so close. Like, do not get so wrapped up in the hustle of this season that, one, you miss out on time with your family, or that you are so stressed out that you don't enjoy it. And 2, that you're so freaking worn out by January 1st that you can't function. I have seen so many of you do that over and over and over again. You bust your butt, and then January comes, and you know what? You suck at being a business owner. You're just not good at it anymore because you're so freaking exhausted. That is why people don't do this long term, because they can't figure out how to even out the kill. You have got to figure out how to work on a more level playing field. That only happens with intentionality. That only happens when you set out to do that. So it's vital that right now, it's November, that you're thinking about your business in January, that you are thinking about your business in February. You should already have your mind there. Think about any business in the world. Sometimes it's just in your brain that somebody else is taking care of it. Yes, Cincy's taking care of it. They are taking care of marketing. They're taking care of research and development. They're taking care of product. Like, yes, you don't have to worry about that, but you still have to worry about doing your job well. And your job is what results in your paycheck. So it's vital that you're already thinking ahead and that you're being super intentional. Because when you're not, that's when your family can suffer. That's when your soul can suffer. That's when your business can suffer long term. Because yeah, maybe you crushed it in November and December, but everything fell flat in January because you weren't thinking long game. We're playing a long game here. This is a marathon. We are not sprinting. We should have our eyes set farther out. Okay, I hope that makes sense.
No, and the other thing on that is that it's not that it's too late to have a successful December.
No, I'm
or
saying
even November.
You should.
It's not, and you will. So use anything you find here or anywhere else to motivate you to close really strong. But I do really think so. Statistically and year over year, after the shipping date, the final shipping date, which is what, the 15th this year?
No, it's
18th.
US, it's
18th. Anyway, whatever it is, from the 18th till the end of the month is usually dead. Now, part of it is because you're traveling, you're with family, you're doing all of that. But I do, if I remember right, I think there is something that's maybe that Scentsi's gonna do this year.
Well,
that's gonna
bring back my bar bundles come out.
Yeah, but there was something else there. Anyway, but Scentsy is gonna do some things to kind of reinvigorate our businesses. So it's okay to stay tuned into that and to respond to that and maybe have an email list out ready to go on whatever that announcement might be. But maybe a month is too much for you. We didn't do the month break for a long time, but figure out a week, figure out 10 days where you totally unplug.
Yes. Focus
on your family, focus on your spouse, focus on just doing things that you used to do just because you wanted to, that because of life you don't do anymore. Go on a walk, go on a hike, drive an hour and a half to the mountains and take a hike or do something, but recharge, because when January comes around and you're ready to rock and roll again, you have to be able to point to something and look to something. And there's got to be something there that's the reason that you get up and work hard every day. And if you're not doing those things, it's just not worth it. We've done it before where we went 2 or 3 years and we were just, I mean, Allie, as successful as the Scentsy business has been, and as much as so many people look to us and think, oh my gosh, I wish I was you. I wish I got in when I was you, or, you know, when you did, and blah, blah, blah. That's all great. But there have been times, even up until recently, I mean, the last few years, where she said, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm tired. I'm beat down. I do this every day. I just don't want to. And it's because we're not recharging our batteries. We're not unplugging. There's statistics coming out every day about how Facebook is making people more depressed, and the suicide rates in teens has never been higher, and this, that, and the other. It's because we're all so connected through the interwebs and all the social media things, but yet we're less relational and we have less close friends and confidants and mentors than we've ever had in any time in history. Mm-hmm. Unplug for a while. Get to know your neighbor. Talk to somebody at church. Talk to other parents at birthday parties. Do something to make relationships matter in your life that aren't behind a computer screen. That's something that we've really had to. That's not only not knowing anything else, but also to love about how important it is to have face-to-face conversations. That's why we're so big about having people on our table at home. Mm-hmm. So do that, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever it looks like, just unplug. I promise you, it's not, it's not, it's not selfish. Don't look at it as you're like taking something away from your teammates or your customers. Look at it as you're charging your batteries.
And it's not irresponsible for your business. I actually think it's one of the smartest things you can do for your business. When he said, I have in the past many times said, I don't want to do this anymore, it wasn't because I didn't love what I was doing. It wasn't because I didn't love the situation I was in. It was, what happened was I got to a place where I had zero boundaries, where I wasn't taking time for myself and I wasn't unplugging enough, and I couldn't handle it. Like, that's just the reality of it, is I got to a place where I just couldn't handle it. And that's a really hard place to be. And I know that some of you have been there, and I know that some of you are there. And it is not irresponsible. It is not selfish to take that time for yourself. It's actually really, really, really necessary. Am I frozen?
Are we frozen, guys? We're frozen on our side. No,
okay, we're not.
No, we're not. Okay.
So, all along those lines, one of the next points I want to make is make time for your spouse.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was going to go to that one, which was what I was talking about. Let's talk about
Tell me about it, baby. Okay, go ahead.
So, I think I know this.
I don't say that to be sarcastic because she doesn't. She does a
yeah.
phenomenal job. I just think this is something that's really important to us and that we talk to a lot of people about. So
I think a lot of people think, well, probably like Christmas and like the holidays, it's not like the best time for me to like have some schedule a few date nights. And, you know, like maybe you're thinking, I really haven't even thought about this.
There's some great holiday date nights.
Schedule in the time for your spouse. If you have to schedule sex, schedule sex. I don't care. You have got to have meaningful connection time. Why are you grinning like that?
Because we used to do that.
We did used to do it. Well, I heard it. I heard it.
You heard what?
What I just said. I said we did used to do it.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. I was just thinking.
I wasn't implying that.
Who told us to do that? Or was it something we read? Or
I don't know. Sometimes you just get to a point where you have to.
I feel like we're getting too personal on online stuff.
That's
I'll just say this one.
why I've asked you to stay away for a while.
We did have probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, we went through a little bit of a funk and we actually sat down one night, just talked about it, no judgment, what's going on. And I communicated that I thought there should be a little more of that. Now he's like, she's a scheduler. Y'all know, we already talked about it. She's a planner. And she was like, we're just going to schedule it like 3 nights a week. I think I convinced her to get 4. I don't know. But she literally put it on the calendar. Not our public calendar that our kids can read, but, you know, calendar. Or I think we came up with a code word, didn't we?
That would be funny.
Wasn't it a code word?
Like what? No, I don't remember this. Maybe. Did I put like avocado on there?
I don't know, something. Why avocado?
I don't know. It's just perfect.
But we did. And the crazy thing about it, as ridiculous as it sounds, and someone's going to chime in and be like, hey, we do that too. I get it. But it worked because what I learned in that season is that her personality type, she has to prepare. And if she saw that it was on the calendar during the day, she would prepare. And literally on the nights, I would get home from work, and if it was on the calendar, and part of me would be like, oh, yeah, but I'm going to come home. There's going to be some excuse. No, if it was on the calendar, it was happening. And
so I like to check things off the list.
Yeah. So I was like, so I just got used to it. And luckily, by the grace of God, we got out of that. I mean, I say luckily, it was a good season, but we got out of that season where we don't have to schedule it, and it still happens and all the things. But without getting, it's the wrong, you know, I don't want to get too crazy or anything on here, but just do what you got to do. Keep your marriage healthy during the crazy holiday season.
I didn't just mean that kind of time with your spouse. That time is very important, but also other things like.
Caitlin said, when I see avocado on the calendar, I'm going to know what that means. Dang it, we're going to have to change our safe word.
So we have a retreat next weekend, and I'm going to write it on the calendar just to see if someone knows.
Yeah, we'll see if someone knows.
Like, did you see what that? Did you know what that means? Okay, what else was I going to say? Okay, not just that kind of time, but also other times. Some of the things that we do intentionally around the holidays is, for one, we still go on date nights, even in the midst of the cray. But we also, that mouse doesn't work on the computer.
That's why.
But all the comments are over there.
I know, but okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, they don't update over here.
Oh, good point. Okay.
So they only update over there.
Okay, what you were saying.
Anyways, one of the things that we do is we will go, like we'll plan a day to go shopping together, or we're going shopping for kid stuff or whatever, right? We spend time wrapping together. Actually, I don't know. I've tried to really cut back on that.
WR.
This one.
Wrapping. Not R.
Yeah.
PPING.
Wrapping. I can rap. PS.
You've memorized some raps. And by rap, she means TLC. Not like Tupac or something.
Well, I mean, I probably know some Tupac, but I know the whole rap.
That's how you flow a little bit.
That's just
That's how you flow.
No, I haven't practiced.
No, just flow.
No. Maybe. No.
Like, yo, what's up, online steps? I see you. No, I'm kidding.
That was the widest thing I've ever seen you
do. Okay. We rap together, wrapping presents together.
Except he's OCD.
Guys, I'm not a perfectionist about most things in life. I can wrap a present better than the little old ladies at Dillard's. I'm telling you right now. But I don't half-ass it, guys. Like, it's.
No, you don't want to wrap a present.
You give me a present, it's gonna have crisp corners and be
it's
perfect.
funny because I'm OCD about a lot of stuff. I could give a crap less about. Like, I do want it to look.
Guys,
pretty.
she'll twist the ends.
No, yeah, I mean, if it's a tube, yes, I will.
You don't even a tube.
Make
you
it look like
you
a
crisp
piece
it
of
up.
candy.
Yeah.
No,
she'll twist that thing off.
Like
Throw some ties around it. I'm not measuring anything, but I'll get that thing right.
Okay, it's really crazy. I make sure the bows look pretty. But I could care less about the edges. Whatever.
Yeah.
And he also can fluff a tree with the best of them.
I can make a fake tree look as good as possible.
OCD, y'all. I'm like, it's a lot.
Today, so we, for the first time in
6 years,
bought an artificial tree to be our main tree. We've been buying real trees and it's great, but we've had a couple bad experiences where they have died and I have to take it back and get a whole new one. We have to start over. It's just a whole thing. So we're wanting a really large tree for this one entry spot in our house. And so I said, let's just buy a tree, an artificial tree. So we buy an artificial tree. Today we start doing it. And I went back and had to fix all of the stuff she did. Guys, like,
that's why I went and pulled
if it's got like 20 little branches, pull them all out. Don't leave a couple of them wrapped around the base. Like, pull them all out, all equally out and in their spots. And it's a thing. Make time for your spouse. Okay.
Maybe says I shouldn't wrap it in the condo. I should have said it out loud. He never would have seen it. I should.
Don't overcommit. This one is huge. I'll lead into this.
This is my next point. Don't overcommit.
Don't overcommit to the next point. Here's the thing about this.
Don't overcommit / set appropriate boundaries because I think they're one and the same.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to take it.
I said I was going to take it.
I know, but I was just adding because I wasn't going to
Then
make that separate.
/ what?
Set appropriate boundaries. The one underneath it.
So this time of year, especially in the giving spirit, and you want to help everybody, and you want to fix all the things, and you want to do all the stuff.
And you want to do all the parties.
All the parties, and you want to go to all the parties, and you want to dress up your kids to all the stuff, and all the school stuff, and all the church stuff, and all the stuff, and all the stuff. Don't. So it's okay to say no. When you measure it against, is this something that we all want to do? Does it line up with all the things that we believe as a family? Does it, like, measure it against whatever you need to measure it against? But when you look at that calendar, this is another reason that calendar is great. That public calendar that your husband and your kids and everybody can see is so great. When you look at it, it's really easy. If I get a text right now from my brother or sister or someone that I really care about, my mom or dad, that says, hey, we need you on Monday for whatever. It's really easy for me to instantly say, absolutely, whatever you guys need. But because we have this calendar, I can go to it and go, oh my gosh, on that day we have, Allie has this thing in the morning, the kids have a thing in the afternoon, you know, whatever it might be. If I commit to my parents or my brother and sister, whoever it is, to do something, I'm changing the dynamic of what that day looks like. In that moment, if I tell them I can't, I've already got something going on, it's fine, right? I've got something going on. They move on. They figure out how to get either help elsewhere or how to just figure it out on their own, right? If I tell them yes, they're counting on me. I've now let my family down. If I now cancel, that lets them down as well. And it just causes a lot of strife that isn't necessary. So just be very mindful when you commit to things this time of year. There's a lot of things going on in all the other people around you that live in your house and just the immediate people around you. Be very mindful. It's okay to say no. I promise you. Look at it through your lens. If you invited someone to something or you asked somebody to do something for you, if they said no because they had prior commitments, would you be totally butthurt by it? If you would be, maybe loosen up a little bit. But just, it's okay to say no, guys. During this season, we say no a lot more than we say yes. We just want our yes to be a full-on yes, that we want to go to that. We want to be a part of it, and we don't want to dread going or wishing we hadn't. And when we're there as our full self, as opposed to ourselves that wish we weren't there, it's just totally different. So
there's so much freedom in saying no. There's so much freedom in saying no, and this goes all the way down to like the basic level of everything, like down to I have learned that I should not be the homeroom mom for my kids' classrooms, but I would love to bring something bought from a store. Like I will, but I can't organize all the things. And it's not because I don't want it. It is because I don't want. It's because honestly, because I think my work is important and I want to do it well. Now, I did go on a field trip and I think that was worth my time because I got one-on-one time with my kiddo and 3 other boys, but it was fine.
I was there for a little bit.
And that was worth the time and the memory of Mama being a field trip. Does my son care if I'm his homeroom mom? He doesn't care. And those are lessons that I had to learn the hard way. I felt like a better business owner and wife and mom when I've learned how to say no to the right things. And that doesn't mean if you're the homeroom mom, bless you. I'm so glad someone's doing it. But there is freedom in learning what is right for you and what is not right for you. And there's a ton of freedom in walking away from things that were not meant for you. The other thing to think about is sometimes when you say no, it's an opportunity for somebody else to say yes. And that's a gift. So keep that in mind. Don't overcommit, set appropriate boundaries. The last two things that I want to talk about briefly, one of them is I think it's so vital that you're working from a budget this time of year. And I'm going to talk about this twofold. As a leader of leaders and as a consultant, maybe you don't have a team yet. But I think it's vital to work from a budget. And maybe you're like, what are you talking about? You are a small business owner. And gosh, we need to do, this is one of the things we need to put on the content calendar is budgeting, business budgeting. How do I budget for my business, especially when, what I make in December is maybe greatly different than what I make in February, right? We need to talk about that. That's like
something we struggled with for a really long time.
Yeah, it's a really good conversation.
Until somebody said it needs to get consistent.
Would that have been you?
Which one of us? Probably.
He remembers.
Exactly.
He remembers. So working from a budget, what do I mean by that? I mean, you should always be working from a budget. And now I just decided we're going to talk about that soon. But let's say you say I've never worked from a budget for my business in my life. Okay, when I'm saying working from a budget, first of all, you need to know how much money you are personally spending on product. How much of our product are you consuming and using for yourself, whether it be personally or for gifts and giveaways and host gifts, stuff like that. Donations, anything like that. Yeah. One of the things that I started doing this year is I put all of our personal stuff, everything that we use on a consistent basis, into my Scentsy Club box, and it just makes it easier for me to keep track of. I know that this is what we need and this is what we use, and I know when it's coming, and it just works for me like that. I know it's not an answer for everybody, but it works well for us. But you do need to know what you're consuming and what you're using, and if you're new, that consumption of our product needs to grow over time. So maybe you haven't tried laundry yet. That needs to happen soon. Maybe you haven't. If you
walked into our house right now, how many warmers do we have?
Well, it's over 20.
That doesn't need to be you from day one. Okay. It's grown over time, different rooms, different places. We've moved stuff, all of the stuff. But we've had new recruits into our house. We've talked about signing up for Scentsy, or maybe they just had. And they walked around and said, oh my gosh, I have so many places in my house I need to put warmers based on seeing that. We're like, whoa, hang on. It's not how it happens. And your business is the same way over time. And it's constantly evolving, guys, even for us. Our budgeting, we've just hired a couple people to help us recently. Our budget is constantly evolving, but we have this baseline of an amount of money that we allow to spend on our business every single month. And although that can fluctuate, and we talk about it when it does, and we make sure we're on the same page, but you've got to have some type of business budget, because what's going to happen is y'all are going to have the best checks of the year in October, November, December. So you just had one, you're going to have another one, and you'll have one more after that. And if you don't budget some of that money, you'll spend it, and then you'll have some low months, and you won't have a whole lot of extra to focus on your business within your budget like you should.
Janae said you have 100 warmers in your house.
Probably. No, we don't have that many, but we have a lot. What's funny is so you guys will appreciate this. So we do the, the Scentsy little wax sucker things that they make, the little cotton things whenever you go around. And Allie will have a ton of them. Oh, baby, that's like a month's supply. And she's like, I'm about to change the wax and I'm about to use all of them. And she'll go around and drop them in all the warmers. And sure enough, she'll use like, a whole bag of those things. I'm like, wow, we really do have more warmers than I even realized. But yeah. Random.
Anyway, working from a budget. So if you are a leader and let's say that you want to give something to your team for Christmas, maybe something small, maybe your frontline, maybe your new team members, that's great and that's fantastic, but you need to be aware of what you're spending and how.
Jennifer Swoop said, my mother has 55 warmers in her house.
She was somebody else's VIP and now she's mine. That's awesome.
Cheryl said we have over 50 warmers in our house. Wow. All right, I'll quit giving you a hard time. Someone's like, babe, we have 25 warmers in our house.
There's at least 25 that are always on.
Yeah. I'll quit giving you a hard time. There's other people that have more. Okay, go ahead.
So it's so vital that you know how much money you're spending on your business. One of the things we talk a lot about is this needs to be profitable. How do you even know if it's profitable if you don't know how much money you're spending? It's really, really important that you have an idea of what your expenses as a business owner are. It will take money to consistently run your business as it grows. It will. That's part of being a small business owner. But you need to know what that money is. How much is it costing for my PWS subscription, for my Son of the Month kit, for our personal product that we're using? How much am I using? What am I gifting to am I giving anything extra to my hosts? Am I sending love mail? Am I sending customer mail? What's postage costing me? All of those things need to be considered. Are we traveling? Even when you travel with Scentsy, maybe it's on an incentive trip or maybe it's for free, you still need to have expenses that you may occur in the back of your mind. What did I say?
Occur.
I thought I said increment. So it's so important that you start a list of expenses. What are the things I'm spending money on so that I can make money? We're working on profit, but it will take investment. So World Tour, you've signed up for World Tour. That costs money. That's an expense, and that's an important and necessary expense. You need to go to events. They change your business. But make sure that you know what it's costing. So you need to be working from a budget this time of year, but also year round. And we apparently will talk about that. So, second
thing on that, obviously, if your business gets to a point to where you're making considerable money, if you're making $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month with Scentsy, you need to get either LLC or S Corp, and you need to open up a business banking account. So that way you can funnel all of your business transactions through that. If you're not to that point yet, which that's 100% okay, nobody starts there, it's okay to open up a secondary personal account and make that your business account, essentially. I promise you guys, it's so easy. It's so much easier to do your business write-offs at the end of the year if you can point to all of those purchases and see what was for what was for product, what was for fuel when you were going to and from Scentsy trainings and that kind of stuff. If you've got it all in one place, open up a secondary business or secondary personal account at your bank. Most banks, it's completely free. You just go in, tell them you want a second account. They give you checks.
I mean, a lot of banks have free small business checking accounts too.
But you have to have a tax ID. That's why I was saying if you have an LLC and an S Corp.
Oh, when I opened up my first one, I didn't. Maybe it was a personal account.
Yeah. So open up a secondary personal account. Deposit some of your Scentsy money in that account. Keep a balance in it. Be able to log in online just like you do on your personal account. But then use that for your business transactions. Use that to order your product that you're either selling at the show or whatever it might be. Use it for fuel when you go to a Scentsy party and come back from a Scentsy party. Use it for that business lunch when you go out to try to talk to somebody about the opportunity about coming into Scentsy. Use it for those things. And then it's so much easier for you personally or your accountant to go in and know what those things were and be able to write those things off. So just separate that stuff so that way you can see what you're doing and how much you're spending, because we for a long time didn't have that accountability. And I started looking at it and I'm like, babe, you spent a lot of money on your business last month, way more than the month before. And she would say, oh, and
I had no idea. Like I was just completely clueless about what I was actually spending on my business.
And it was all for good stuff. Like she was ordering print products to mail out and doing this and doing that. But sometimes she would order 6 months worth of supply for something in 1 month. And I would look at it and go, oh my gosh, you spent triple this month what you spent last month. She would go, well, I had to pay for my GoDaddy, website, and I had to pay for these 6 months worth of this and that and the other. And so we were able to kind of look at it a 12-month span because we tracked it. The same thing you could do if you open up a secondary checking account. You can kind of track it. And then you kind of have an idea so that next year, going into the year, you can set your goals for what you want to make in your business because you know how much it costs to run your business. And then you can grow your goals based off of that. Let's do the last one.
The last one is my last point. How do we do family and business in the holidays well, all at the same time when you're a small business owner?
What? Where you at?
I'm just repeating.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
I was reiterating the point. And then, how do we do it all well?
Yeah.
The very last point is
be generous.
yes.
So this is something that is very, very, very important to us. It's something that, what'd you say?
Just keep going.
Oh yeah. It's something that we can look back to on when we started doing this more and from a better place within us. And it really not only changed us, it changed our business, it changed our personal lives, it changed our relationships, it changed so many things. Be generous. Now that can look like a lot of different things for a lot of different people. There are a million different ways you can give this time of year. We've seen every bell ringer when you walk into a store. There are more people holding cardboard signs this time of year. There are more tithing messages at churches. There are more paid advertisements on your newsfeed of different organizations that you can give to this time of year than any. And they do that for good reason. They do that because
money drive is a great idea.
Yeah, this is the time of year when people feel like they want to give. This is the time of year where people are most generous. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those 90% of those organizations are phenomenal and they're doing a lot of good in this world. But the difference in what we used to do, which was feel like we would do our part, give a little here, give a little there, feel good about it. So that way we could sleep in our warm beds, in our warm house, in our great place, our great town, and feel okay about it and not feel like, you know, the entitled whatever that we were. But when you truly start to go from giving to being generous, and that's looking for opportunities at every corner to change somebody's life, to change their day, to change their week, whatever that might look like, to look for organizations that could really use a little pick-me-up or could use a little inspiration, to not just give, and I don't mean just give in your money monetarily, but give in your time, give in your ideas, give in your whatever your passions are. The thing we always tell people, what is it that breaks your heart? What is it out there that you have trouble sleeping at night if you think too much about it, or if you think too much about what's going on with it if you don't get involved? Those are the kind of things we want you guys to give to. And I don't just want it to be once a year. I don't just want it to be this time of year. But I really think once you start to not only work out of that mindset, but kind of live out of that mindset of constantly looking for opportunities to be generous, it just changes who you are. And you guys know with our company, one of our core principles is generosity. It's authenticity, simplicity, and generosity. I won't blank. And generosity is such a huge one. And I know that not only Orville and Heidi and Chuck and so many people at the executive level that have been with our company since the beginning feel that way about it. But when you look at their lives and the way they lead their lives, they're a perfect example for it in so many ways. So much of the heart we have to give comes out of the example that has been given to us by so many incredible leaders and employees of this company. And so be looking for those opportunities. Talk to your spouse about that. Talk to your family. Sometimes the best place to get those ideas is from the people that are closest to you and around you. I know that we've had conversations with our kids about that. And some of the things that our kids come up with in areas that they want to give, as silly as sometimes it may sound, mean a lot to them. And it's something that could really just change the dynamic of the legacy that you're leaving with your kids. We're big on legacy. We're big on talking about 50 years from now and 100 years from now and 200 years from now, the legacy that you're leaving today. And that starts with your children. So if you've got kids, that's a good place to start also, is their ideas and what they want that to look like.
Yes.
What are you writing down? Oh, you're just writing down stuff.
Yeah. So somebody asked if I would repeat all of the points, and I'm going to post them in just a little bit over on Facebook and on our Instagram account in the stories. So a couple things, real quick updates.
Well, real quick, what's being generous mean to you?
Okay. I think it is truly being open to the needs of other people. So for me, generosity is not just money. It's not just giving, in a physical manner, but it's also just time. So as somebody who can be overscheduled, who is, a planner, and this is the way things are going to go. One of the things I think I've really had to learn how to stretch and grow is to be what did I just say? Like conscious of people's needs, even just for time, for an ear to listen, for someone to smile back at them. Those sound like really simple things, but in this day and age, they're generous things that change people and change the way people see the world. We are all too often head down in our phones, and full, what's the word?
Exposure?
No, just, like fully admitting, like,
admitting.
Yeah, that's me sometimes. But it's so important to be generous with everything, our time, our energy, our resources, that we steward well what we've been given, because I think that truly changes. It can absolutely change the world. And I think that's what we get to be a part of. So I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Okay. So I wanted to say, I am going to repost. I want to do a couple quick updates. So if you've noticed, if you're following on Online Steps to Success, because I have help answering messages and doing a few other things around here, I have been posting more on social media. That's actually me, by the way. That's one of the things I love to do, is write content, share ideas, share things from my heart. And so you'll see, if you're following us on Online Steps to Success on the Facebook page, and we have an Instagram page as well, that I'm sharing things almost on a daily basis over there. Things that I'm learning, they're important to me, books that I'm reading, resources that I've mentioned, things like that. I've also been sharing a little bit in stories over there, so that's fun. We have decided to not broadcast on Instagram anymore this live, but I will be sharing stories on Instagram from time to time, especially as I'm using those resources that I've mentioned before, or as I'm even maybe working on something and I want to share it with you guys of what does the work day look like for me, something like that. So I'll be sharing on the Instagram page and stories. You can follow us over there. You search Online Steps to Success. You'll find it. If you look for me on Instagram, Allison Dalkey, it's linked in my profile as well. So we'll be sharing a lot there, as well as on the Facebook page. So if you're following, you should get updates when I share things on Facebook as well. And we'll be sharing in stories occasionally too. So that's one nice thing about hiring help, is I get more time to do stuff like that, which I actually really love to do. So we will continue to broadcast live on YouTube and on Facebook every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. But like I said, we're not going to broadcast live on Instagram anymore, but I will be sharing in the story section on Instagram throughout the week. So
are we taking any Tuesdays off?
Yes, at the end, but they don't even, towards the end of December we are. Yep.
Because we're saying we're going to take this break.
We are.
We like coming on here with you guys, though. This isn't like working.
So I'm just crying.
Okay. Hopefully that goes away organically. Is that what you see?
Sounds like a goat.
It did sound like a goat.
You check that out?
Nah, that's what it sounded like. All right. You can close it out.
Hey, thanks. Definitely Lucy. All right. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back live next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time, sharing something that's on our hearts, sharing something that we've learned. Also, if there's anything ever that you want us to talk about that we haven't already talked about, we've talked about so much. So if you're new, we have tons and tons and tons of videos on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel as well, from live videos that we've shot, everything from recruiting and building your team to leadership, to time management, to, I think we have a whole video about sex. We have a lot of things that we've shared and overshared. She's like completely passed out. That's too much. We've also talked a lot about the work-life balance and what does that look like. So if there's anything that you want us to share, shoot us a message. We would love to know about that. One of my goals for this next year is to kind of have a content calendar. It's really important to me that this is organic and that it's from my heart, but it's also, there's not a lot I don't want to talk about. And so it would be helpful for everybody around if I kind of knew what I was going to talk about a little bit more ahead of time than what I do. So if there's something you'd like to hear us talk more about, shoot me a message. I would love to hear it. Head on over to our Instagram page and shoot us a message. That would be fantastic as well. And there you have it. We'll work on getting a better planned out content calendar. That sounds so professional, but you know what I mean. Thanks for joining us. Oh wait, I have one more note. Let me just read what it says. Oh, this is important. Look at my whiteboard. You like that? Why does it matter that you do family and business well this holiday season? You had the opportunity to build a business that allows you to change your lifestyle. And I mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, but I just want to drive it home. You're building a business that can and should change things about your world and the world of people around you. But you have to have year-round consistency to do that. You cannot wear yourself out. You have to be laser focused. And so November and December are not the only game times. November, December, January, February, March, April. It's all game time. You are a small business owner now. You are building a profitable and generous business. And to do that, you have to be in it for the long haul. It can't be a quick fix here and there. It has to be long-term goals. And working your business with intention this holiday season will help you have a more intentional beginning of the year. And a more intentional beginning of the year is going to help your business work better all year long in 2019. And that's what we want. We want a lifestyle business that actually makes your life better. We want this to be something that changes something that's negative in your life into something positive. And that will only happen when you set the rules, when you decide how and when you're going to work, and then when you stick to it. You have got to hold yourself accountable for what you've said you're going to do and make those things happen. Now is the time. We want you to finish strong. Thank you for joining us, and I can't wait to chat with you next week. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Bye. It just takes me a minute to turn them all off. Hold on.